For me, if I think about the most devastating no I've ever had in my life, where I had been into the States for about 10 years, I felt this was my home, and I had this idea that I wanted to start a business, and I wanted to go to business school. And when my green card got denied, it was really the most, like, it really shattered me to my core, and it felt like I cannot, like, I had all these plans, and I can't go forward, and I don't know what to do with my life. Like, my entire plans for the rest of my life were really, really shattered. Mm-hmm. And what I think is relevant for everyone here is that when you get a no, even if it might seem that it's the end of the world, it could be an investor telling you no, it could be like understanding that your business is not failing. And I think this is very related to what we realized in the Fitbit for Dogs, or even Kindred. When you get that no, like, you have to just be like, it's not about me, it's about the circumstance. I need to come up with a plan forward and figure out what I need to do to move forward. We really wanted to build a company, and we had rejected. I had an offer from Apple to be a product manager for the summer, and I had rejected that offer. And Mike had some as well. I think Alex never even interviewed. And this was like when we kind of came to the conclusion that this wasn't going to work. And it was really all the market signals plus a company that we knew had raised 7 million and announced the fact that they raised 7 million to build this. So we couldn't raise money. They had raised so much money. And it did feel like if they raised so much money on this idea and we can't, it must be us. But so what? Let's try again. We're not going to give up. Maybe we're not the right people for this market. Maybe we can try something else that we can be better at. That's kind of like, that was really our thought process. In most cases, when you hear so many no's, there's something behind it. Even with Airbnb, I am confident that all those no's help them actually refine this business model and change it somewhat. Because if you hear no's from your potential customers and your investors and your advisors, usually means that you need to have a different idea. If you're talking to potential customers and everyone's saying yes, and they're starting to get and use and buy your product, and your investors are saying no, that's a different story. I think you can keep going because you can build enough traction that you'll get investors. Mm-hmm. But if your customers are saying no, you either don't have the right idea, or you're not talking about them with the right value, or not giving them the right value prop. Many times you hear this idea that when you raise pre-seed money, it's really about the team. And it is to some extent, but also it's not, because we had branches our fourth idea, and we're trying to fundraise for all 4 of them. And we had very different experiences with the exact same team fundraising for different ideas. So when you hear, I think sometimes founders can take it very personally when they hear in the early stages about the founder, and if you're not getting money, you think it's you. It's not you. The market and what you're going after is like way more important. But in the early stages, when you're trying to sell something to people and no one's like 1 in 10 people say they want it, that's not product market fit. And the biggest advice, the biggest learning from that is you have to move on and figure out something else that makes sense. And it's the hardest thing you have to do as a founder, because you become so attached to it's your baby, it's your idea. It was really making the transitions between Fitbit for Dogs and Kindred, between Kindred and Branch, have been some of the toughest, most depressing moments of my life. The biggest thing is if you want to start a business, and you have to at some point take the plunge completely. And by that, I mean you have to tie whatever else you're doing before, whether it was a different business, whether you had the job, you have to tie all those ties and actually plunge in the deep end, because that's the only way you can make a business work, in my opinion. Because this idea of having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset is very interesting. And I think if you believe that you are enough as you are, but you can keep growing and you don't let failures, it's not about you. It's about, you failed, you can learn and get better. You are enough as a person, but your skills can improve. I think that's a very powerful thing that I probably learned too late. Not too late, but later in life than most people. And I try, when I see people with a fixed mindset, and sometimes I notice that I still have a fixed mindset, I try to change and have this idea that it's not about you, it's about like your skills, and you can improve your skills, and if you work on them, you can get better at anything. And every single piece of feedback, every failure is actually a gift, and a gift that you can learn from and get better.